EEK. Stories to Make You Shriek. The Wax Museum by Devra Speregen. Illustrated by Donald Cook. Jordan Green looked out her hotel window. It was raining. It rained a lot in London. Her family was there on vacation. "The rain will not stop us. We'll find something fun to do," said her father. Jordan's brother Dan looked up from his travel book. "How about the Wax Museum?" he asked. "Wax Museum?" Jordan felt a lump in her throat. They had seen a poster for the Wax Museum at the airport. It looked really scary. Dan had been talking about it ever since. Jordan hated scary stuff, and she never went to scary places like museums filled with creepy wax statues. But Dan loved all of that stuff, and he had been so nice yesterday. Dan had gone with Jordan to a dollhouse museum. Dan was such a nice brother. So now, Jordan did not want to spoil his fun. "Can we go, Mom?" Dan asked again. Jordan's mother turned and looked at Jordan. It was as if she were saying, "Is that okay with you?" So Jordan said, "Sounds like fun." And she tried to smile. "Then it's off to the Wax Museum we go," Dad said. Jordan and her family waited for a bus. Jordan thought it was cool the way the bus had an upstairs. It was cool, too, the way all the people talked. Jordan listened to two men. It was English, but it sounded very different. Lots of words were different, too. Going to the loo meant going to the bathroom. Cookies were biscuits, and policemen were called bobbies. Jordan saw a bobby across the street. "If you get lost here," her dad told her, "just ask for help from a bobby." Jordan nodded. But she did not plan on getting lost in a strange city. That would be so scary. At the Wax Museum, the Greens waited in line for tickets. Dan kept reading from his book. "We get to see all kinds of famous murderers," he said. "One guy cut up 27 people into lots of little pieces. Look." Dan showed Jordan the picture. "Cool," Jordan said weakly. "Jordan, remember, you do not have to go inside," her dad said. "I can take you someplace else if you want." But Jordan took her ticket. "No, it's okay," she said. "It's not like any of the stuff is real." Inside the museum, it was cold and damp and very dark. It looked like the streets of London at night. There were creepy wax statues everywhere. Jordan did not like it at all. But Dan was having a great time. He stopped at every statue. "Check it out! Jack the Ripper!" he cried. "And look over here! A headless man!" Dan shouted. Jordan could not help but look. The headless man was holding his head. His dark eyes were still open. They were staring right at her. "It's not real. It's not real," Jordan told herself. But the headless man did not look like wax. He looked real. Mom, I think I have to go to the bathroom," Jordan said. That was not really true. It was just an excuse to get away for a little bit. I'll be back in a minute. There was an arrow. It pointed to the bathrooms. Her parents said they would wait right where they were. So Jordan followed the arrow. And then another arrow. Ah, there was the sign. Ladies' room. In she went. Jordan took a few deep breaths. She splashed some water on her face. You are acting like a baby, she told herself. Get a grip. It was just an old museum after all. A minute later, Jordan came out. She thought it would be easy to retrace her steps, but somehow she was all turned around. The museum was so dark. The halls looked different now. It suddenly hit Jordan that she was all alone. Just her and a room full of wax monsters. It felt as if she were being watched, as if her eyes were being followed by other eyes. A shiver ran through Jordan. Should she go left? Past the wax prisoner in handcuffs? Where was her family? As Jordan started to take a step, something grabbed her arm. Jordan closed her eyes and screamed. Ah! Whoa there, little lady, a voice said. Jordan opened her eyes. Beside her was a policeman, a Bobby. Are you lost? The Bobby asked. Jordan nodded. She felt foolish now for screaming, but the Bobby was not laughing at her. He seemed concerned. The Bobby had a very kind face. He had rosy cheeks and a big mustache that drooped way down. The Bobby put his arm around Jordan. Not to worry, he said with a smile. This happens a lot. The museum is like a maze. Come with me, I will help you find your family. The way he said maze sounded like mice, and he said elp instead of help. The Bobby led Jordan through the museum. He kept talking in a friendly way. He even let Jordan try on his hat. Soon, they were back in the room with the headless man. Jordan's eyes lit up. There was her family. Mom, Dad, Dan, she cried out and ran to them. Jordan, her mother said, what took you so long? We were starting to worry. I got lost, Jordan said. Then she smiled. But this nice Bobby helped me. He let me try on his hat. Jordan's family looked puzzled. What Bobby? All three of them asked at the same time. Jordan turned around. There was no one there. The Bobby was gone. He was here a second ago, Jordan told her family. She felt bad. She had wanted to thank the Bobby. Dad looked at his watch. Well, I think I've seen enough monsters and murderers for one day, he said. I'm ready for some tea and biscuits. How about you guys? Jordan was only too glad to leave the wax museum. She followed her dad toward the exit. Suddenly, Jordan noticed someone up ahead. It was a man in a blue uniform. I think it's him, cried Jordan. The Bobby who helped me. Jordan raced up to him. He was standing beside the wax prisoner in handcuffs. I wanted to thank, she started to say. Then she stopped. It was him. The Bobby had the same droopy mustache, but there was one big difference. The Bobby was made of wax. How could it be? The Bobby had talked to her. He had brought her back to her parents. Jordan did not have an answer. All she knew was she had to get out of the wax museum. Now. Jordan turned to go. She looked up at the Bobby one last time. And he winked at her.